Well, LSU is still trying to get Caden Durham back, and they just added William Satterwhite. The big deal is still about Sam Levitt, because if the Tigers don't get him, there's going to be a lot of questions for Lane Kiffin to answer.
Locked On presents The Portal, the daily podcast covering college football recruiting and everything NIL. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Into the Portal Podcast, where you get your daily recruiting, NIL, and transfer portal scoop. I'm your host, Brian Smith, longtime college football recruiting analyst. Thank you for making the Portal Podcast a part of your day, each and every day, right here on the nation's #1 podcasting network, Locked On. We're going to be discussing Tennessee and Miami and how they mix in the whole Sam Levitt situation a little bit later. But first, and most importantly, the following take, and this is all about LSU and Lane Kiffin. After bringing Sam Levitt to campus, but then basically moving on while he was on campus for Damon Williams and then seeing that blow up, Lane Kiffin is really on the clock, even before he's coached a game, because LSU is in danger of not having a quarterback that's truly ready to handle the rest of the roster and expectations to make the 2026 college football playoff and make a run. Not just make it, but to make a run. So if you had Sam Levitt all but in the bag, because by all accounts, the visit was going very well, but then let him slide away and then have the whole Damon Williams situation basically blow up. This is going to be a Kiffin problem before he coaches a game. Think about that. And LSU's fan base is not exactly the easiest to please, but we'll see how this goes. But here's the scenario. Levitt visited LSU. All was going well. We've probably all seen, if you're watching this video, Levitt photos or videos of him sitting next to Lane courtside at an LSU basketball game. That's fine. The Damon Williams situation turned around, even though Lane Kiffin was really trying to get him. That's a guy, by the way, for full disclosure, was at one point committed to Kiffin in Ole Miss when he was a high school player before eventually ending up at Washington. He ends up back at Washington. That whole scenario, because of his contract with NIL and the Huskies, made that go away. But now you got to go fix the Sam Levitt scenario. So Kiffin flies up to Knoxville, Tennessee. How ironic is that? Because obviously that fan base hates him more than any other, because he was there for 1 year and kind of left in the middle of the night a number of years ago. But Matt Moscona, Locked On LSU, I heard this on his show, so full credit. Lane posting that he's at the Knoxville airport. He posted the tiger emoji, etc. on X. He's obviously really doing his best to try to get back in there. And again, for those who don't know, William Satterwhite was the center at Tennessee. He's secured him. He's headed to Baton Rouge. So they got another key piece, good offensive lineman from the Vols. Now the question, can he get the quarterback to go with it? Because again, if he doesn't, how does this work? Like, who's quarterback going to be? They don't have anybody ready. And just to go down the list here of who's available, you know, the guys like Sorsby's not available, etc. Who is available? Because I wrote down a few guys, like out of the top 20 quarterbacks by 24/7 Sports. Here are the ones that are still available. Obviously, Levitt himself. Dylan Raiola, more of a pocket guy, though. He completed 72%, but he's not mobile, and Kiffin's offense generally wants somebody that's mobile. Not impossible, but not likely. That being stated, the only other ones that really come to mind are Beau Pribula, was at Penn State for a few years. This past season at Missouri, had the broken leg late in the year, tried to come back, gallant, obviously, but didn't do a ton as a passer. And then there's two young guys. Usain Longstreet played this past season at SC, didn't really do a whole heck of a lot, but he's a very talented passer. In a similar fashion, Deuce Knight. He was a freshman quarterback at Auburn. Extremely athletic, much like Longstreet, but also like Longstreet, really didn't play a whole lot of football. So they're both unproven. So that brings us back to the main point here. Kiffin bypassed on somebody, and he's building a good roster around it. They've got a great portal class so far. 4 or 5 receivers, offensive linemen, defensive linemen. They've got all kinds of things coming in, but no quarterback. And we all know the expectations at LSU. This would not be a good way to start your LSU career. So will he get it done? That's hard to say. But now we've got to talk about Tennessee and Miami, two other teams that are very well known for their, shall we say, high level of NIL money. That is next here on the Portal Podcast. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. The college football playoffs are down to two teams, the Indiana Hoosiers and the Miami Hurricanes. If you want to go to that game or anything else and have a great time, that's one part of it. But if you're like most people, you just want to check it out and have some fun, FanDuel is giving all customers even more ways to get in on the action every single time there's a game. We got one left. Right now, every college football playoff game day, FanDuel users can get a profit boost waiting for them in the app. So here's how you should go ahead and check it out. Ride with your favorite if you want, whether you think it's going to be Indiana. I think they opened at a 7.5-point favorite on FanDuel. Take a shot at the underdog if you think the Canes are going to win, whatever it may be. But whatever you do, you can apply the profit boost and get even bigger savings with a W. FanDuel is the best place to get on the action all playoff long. Visit FanDuel.com to get your playoff profit boost every single game day. We are also brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. Again, just one game left, and if you're going to try to get to a game, that's fantastic. It's going to be down in Miami, ironically, where the Canes are a home team, but this is going to be awesome. The tailgate, all the stadium, everything that's going on with this. The Hoosiers, they're going to be a favorite, but they're playing at Miami, so this is going to be awesome. If you want to go, tickets may not be the easiest thing to get. It can be frustrating with all the queues, the long lines, and of course, the price of the tickets. That's why Game Time gives you, the fan, an advantage. It's the easiest way to unlock amazing college football tickets and experiences in just a few clicks. I used it recently just to get basketball tickets at 2 different games. Easy, very, very easy. Name of the team or the event. Find it in a couple of seconds, click on it, then pick a seat, see what the price is, and then see your seat view right there from your phone. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. If you want to take your experience to the next level here on the Portal Podcast, check out the description below. Click on the link for the Everydayer Club. If you want to get your audio for free, no ads at all, that is, none. Whether you're going to the gym, whether you're going out for a walk, whatever you're doing, just hanging out the house, no ads, $5 a month or $50 for a year. And there's also information on the Discord, everybody checking it out, fans and all the different podcasters on the Locked On Network, getting in the chat, having fun, and learning more about what's going on. Check it out. Everydayer Club right here on the Locked On Portal Podcast. Now let's talk about Miami and Tennessee. This is a scenario that's very straightforward. Mario Cristobal wants a quarterback that's going to get it done, and he wants somebody that's going to deliver the football on time, be consistent, kind of stay ahead of the chains, could be more dynamic, kind of like Cam Ward, compared to Carson Beck, but bottom line, he could throw it. Will that happen? I don't know, but I expect them to be at the top, if not at least close, on whatever the NIL offer may be. Tennessee. They're another team with deep pockets. They just signed their Adidas deal. They certainly have plenty of booster money. It will be interesting because their fan base is tired of losing, at least most years, to Georgia, to Alabama, to coming up short. They didn't beat a team this past season with a winning record. Then, of course, again, back to LSU, all the expectations and Kiffin's put them in this spot. So here's the other oddball part of this. What is Sam Levitt's health? This may be the determining factor because one of these teams is going to come into this scenario, fight for his signature, not get it, and end up with somebody else, maybe not even Raiola. They're going to be behind. But what about Levitt's Lisfranc injury? For those you don't know, that's a pretty serious foot injury, and I believe he had the surgery. You can either let it ride, takes a little less time to get back on the field, but you have a more high propensity chance to see it break again. And that means you would probably miss the season because it is not a slow healing process. It's a very slow. But he got the surgery. Allegedly, it went well, etc. Where that's at, I don't know, but he's probably going to miss spring. So my other question, not just about money or where he wants to go, which team backs off, if any? That will be an interesting part of this. I don't know for sure. I really don't. There aren't a whole lot of teams that want to see their quarterback come in and spend a bunch of money on him and not be available for spring. And when I mean available, I'm talking about full go. Again, I cannot stress this enough. The Lisfranc injury is slow to heal. And if, like a lot of injury, like a hamstring, rest is really the number one prerequisite for getting it better. So will Miami or LSU or Tennessee offer $4+ million, maybe $5 million to a guy that's going to miss spring ball? I don't know. Let's assume they all go all in for whatever the reason. It's possible. One last thing. Which team really needs it the most out of this? Can't say it's Miami because they're in the national title. Let's move them to the side. I'm sure Miami really wants them because they want to keep this rolling, but there's less pressure on Cristobal and his staff. Now let's talk about Heupel and Kiffin. Which one is it? You could say it's Heupel because he's been there a while. I could buy it. But the LSU situation, because Kiffin created it, it's debatable. Maybe there's more pressure on Kiffin because he basically allowed Sam Levitt to walk. They may have closed the deal if he just would have stuck with the visit when Levitt was actually in Baton Rouge, but that didn't happen. They pivoted, they missed, and now they pivoted again back to Levitt. This is going to be fascinating. Again, just a reminder, here are a few of the quarterbacks that are still remaining. Beau Pribula, moderate results. Dylan Raiola, absolutely a guy. I could see Raiola maybe going to Miami. They're going to use pocket quarterback more than the other two. But then you got guys that just don't have a whole lot of experience, and it gets dicey. You saw on Longstreet from Southern Cal's in the portal, 1 year, barely played. Deuce Knight, also 1 year from Auburn. And then you're kind of looking at it going, do we have anything else? Maybe there's somebody they're going to try to induce into the portal. That's always a possibility. But right now, this is very dicey. None of Miami, LSU, or Tennessee are dead set on next year. And those are programs where their fans expect them to do something like Miami pretty much every year now, or with LSU and Tennessee, take it up a notch. It's going to be really fascinating. Thank you once again for making the Portal Podcast a part of your day each and every day right here on the nation's #1 podcasting network, Locked On. We're going to have a whole bunch of different quarterback scenarios coming up. We're going to be talking about a lot of different guys making decisions in the next few days. This is when the time that not just big decisions, but just quantity, like we're to the end of this. End of next week, the portal's over, and there's so much negotiating going on and so many guys taking visits this weekend. We're going to see a lot. Between Monday and Wednesday, when I do the live shows at noon, you're going to see it. We're going to be talking about so-and-so committed to Oregon, to Indiana, to Tennessee. Maybe it's Leavitt, to LSU, or any other place. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on. So make sure you check out the Portal Podcast. We will see you again soon.